All right, we are back for the second week of the wisdom series that we're working on, and really hoping that last week was able to really speak into your life and whatever you're going through, whatever season of life you're in right now. And so right now we're going to talk about Ecclesiastes, right? And so the Bible Project does a really good job. I don't know if you've ever watched their videos. They do a really good job of talking about kind of just characterizing the three books of wisdom, right? They say that Proverbs, if it were to be a human, it would be a young wise man, just full of life, full of excitement and enthusiasm. Ecclesiastes is just kind of a middle-aged, really cynical guy. And then Job would be an old, weathered, beaten man who has just been tested by so much, right? And so right now we're in Ecclesiastes, and just one of the main themes that you see right from the beginning is just this question of, is all of this, is living, all that we do in life, is it all in vain? Is it worthless? No matter how much wisdom you acquire, you're gonna die just like a fool will, like everyone dies. I hope that's not a surprise to you out there, right? We're all gonna Santa's not real. What? Right? So everyone's gonna reach the end of their life, and so it's this middle-aged guy walking around, watching people, do labor jobs under the sun, stressing, their backs, working so hard just to make a living, and people, selling themselves to whatever passion they feel like living in the time, drinking away their days and everything. Just like all of this is in vain. It's all this worthless. What is the purpose of this? And so out of that we see a lot of wisdom, because he has to kind of come to the realization, and whoever's reading this book has to come to the realization that whether you like it or not, whether you feel like you're stuck in a dead-end job, or you're covered in darkness right now, or you feel like you're in a toxic relationship, or you don't like where you're at in life, whether or not wherever you're at, you're alive right now, and you're full of life, you have breath in your lungs. So what are you going to do about that? You're here, and God has put you here for a reason and a purpose, whether you want to admit it or not. So what are you going to do with that? Are you going to spend it with pessimistic, negative, thought-filled days, just doubting everything around you? Or are you going to use that life to impact the people that you're surrounded with and just love them like crazy and just pursue God and the will that He has set out for you?
So good. For me, I want to share Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1. It says, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven." And so there's this song by Hillsong that just came out not long ago on their Christmas album called Seasons, and it says, "If all I know of harvest is that it's worth my patience, and if you're not done working, God, I'm not done waiting." And I feel like this just flows with this, that for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. And I think for me, like that verse and that song has really spoken life into me, because sometimes I get discouraged when I'm sharing the gospel with teammates, when I'm trying to just be a light on campus or on the team, and I get discouraged when I see people stumble and I see people fall. But I feel like he's just saying, if all I know of harvest is that it's worth my patience, then if you're not done working, God, I'm not done waiting. So we're just going to consistently pursue Him and work towards God, and just consistently try to share the love and grace that we've been shown. And we're going to see that in verse 11, he says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, He has put eternity into man's heart, yet so that he cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end." And I love that first part. He has done everything. He has made everything beautiful in its time. And it kind of goes along with what we talked about in Proverbs, that God has a plan. He's made everything beautiful in its own time, in His time. It's not about what we want to do, it's about what He wants. And so I think that I heard Levi Lusko the other day talking about how people say, let go and let God. And he's like, no, that's false. He's like, that's not what we're going to do. He's like, instead, I feel like God's telling you, why don't you get to stepping and watch God show up? We're not just going to fall and just be still and become disobedient in that, but He's saying that, it's worth it. So pursue me, and I'm going to show up, and you're going to be encouraged, and you're going to see the love and the grace that I have for you and for the people around you.
Absolutely.
For For sure, man. I just think about the 12 lepers that call out to Jesus during Jesus' ministry and his walk on earth, and they call, "Hey Jesus, Master, heal us," and he says, "Oh, hey, go see the priest." And then as they were going, they were healed, and it says, "Hey, no, go get to stepping," like you just said. And then there's a process, there's a faith aspect, and that part of faith that Chandler was just talking about there, and what Levi kind of hit on, really instilled into Chandler, is this verse in 11:1, and it's talking about cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it many days after. And I can only just think about this verse in faith. And the same guy, Levi Lusko, that we talk about, made me think about this in a way of talking about that maybe the crop of choice in that day was grain, and they've worked so hard for harvest, and they've harvested the grain, and now they're shipping this grain upon the waters to go be traded for many different things. And so they have to go risk and comfort and many other things, because they have grain, that's what they have, but they don't have other things that they have to put their faith in, that the transportation for things to get there, and then the transportation back, that there's storms, there's waves, there might be all many different things, and there's no guarantee that they're going to get necessarily a reward back. Those 12 lepers didn't have a guarantee that they were going to be healed when they were told to go see the priest, but they threw their bread upon the waters, and that it says that you will find it after many days. And I can only see many times in my life, and many times I've seen in these guys' life, that sometimes you just got to get to stepping. Sometimes you just got to get to walking in faith and be like, God, if you don't show up, I'm not going to be healed. God, if you don't show up, I'm not going to get this job. God, if you don't show up, I'm not going to make it through Mars Hill. God, if you don't give me community, God, then I'm not going to have community. Yeah, there's just been so many times in my life that where I don't even know if this is like a key thing to what God really is working, but a lot of times that's just a way for us to step out in faith. They don't know what you are experiencing to step out in faith, but hey, cast that bread upon the waters, and get to step in and see what God does with that. And I think another one that really pops in my head is Ecclesiastes 12:13. Basically the end of the book, and here he's basically saying is all I've, the end of the matter. So he's basically saying, hey, at the very least, at the end of the matter, all has been heard. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Hey, I hope that my life, I hope that these guys' lives are one of faith, but I also hope that I can fear God and keep His commandments. That if there's anything I get out of Ecclesiastes, that I can have faith to step out upon the waters, and that I can fear God and keep His commandments.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, just want to go back really quick to chapter 1, verse 16 to 18. It says, I said in my heart, I have acquired great wisdom, surpassing all who were over Jerusalem before me. And my heart has had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. And I applied my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceived that this also is but striving after the wind. For in great wisdom is much vexation, much annoyance, and he who increases knowledge increases sorrow. And so this has really spoken a lot in my life personally. I'm a religion major here at Mars Hill. Phil was a religion major, and you come across a lot of classes that they stress knowledge and critical thinking just so much, and all you do is just critically and analytically read the Bible and read the text, and it's just so spiritually draining at times because there's no life in it. You're forced not to see the life. It's taken out, and you just get this cynical mood, and so when I started reading Ecclesiastes for the first time in a while, it really got me to think about this mindset I've been in, because there's just this thought of all of this is but striving after the wind. You're never gonna catch the wind. It's transparent, You're never gonna catch it. And so it got me. It made me question the way I'd been thinking, and really got me to come out of that negative mindset I'd been in, and realize, as I said before, as Phil said in chapter 12 at the very end, seek God, realize that He has given you this life, and all else will fall into place. That His judgment and His will are good enough for us, that we can just have faith and trust in the process, and all else will be patient, and the season will come. The season of harvest will come, even if we can't even see on the horizon. We have to believe that it's coming, And so we really hope that you can. This dude is so dopey. We really hope that resonates with you guys, no matter what you're going through. Like we said last week, there's going to be a blog post in the description below that we hope that you'll find time to read. And yeah, hope you're having a good December. Thank you for watching. Trust the process.
Progressive sanctification.
What?